Archangel Michael told you to stop looking, but you kept digging, and what you found leads straight to them. A sacred hour struck, and all of heaven paused. Time thinned. Realms stood on edge. The veil between dimensions quivered with an ancient tension, one not born of human hands but of divine confrontation. A command echoed across eternity, resonating like a trumpet in the soul of the chosen. Do not look. It wasn't whispered. It wasn't suggested. It was divine instruction. And yet, you felt it in your chest like a tremor. A knowing. A pull that shook your bones. Heaven told you to turn away, but your spirit would not obey. You kept digging. You kept seeking. You kept looking. Not out of rebellion, but because something inside you knew the truth was hiding in plain sight. You didn't just dig through circumstances. You dug through conversations, through eyes that lied too calmly, through environments that grew eerily quiet when you entered. You weren't investigating, you were remembering. You were waking up. And what you uncovered wasn't just human. It wasn't just scandal. It wasn't just deception. It was an invisible structure, something woven into the background, a force that moved behind masks and manipulated through smiles. The Spirit of God had placed something in your line of sight but warned you of its weight. Not everyone was meant to see this. Not everyone was prepared to carry the consequences of divine exposure. But you did what others feared to do. You pierced the silence. This message is not for the many. This message is for the awakened, for the Spirit-led, for the spiritually sensitive who refuse to stay numb. If you are still watching, still reading, still present, then you already know this truth isn't an accident. You were summoned here, marked by divine timing, pulled by the Spirit. Heaven's silence, in those long hours of uncertainty, was a test. It wasn't God abandoning you. It was God watching you. It was the Archangel standing by, sword drawn, waiting to see what you would choose. And now, with the record of your decision, heaven has moved. You broke the silence, and now the silence will break the world around you. Something has been triggered. Something has been uncovered. What happens next will change everything. This is not a warning. This is a decree. This is not fear-mongering. This is a divine notice. The digging you did wasn't just about information. It was initiation. You were never searching. You were being summoned. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Archangel Michael speaks through this moment. He does not speak with uncertainty. He does not whisper with hesitation. His voice is a roar wrapped in holiness, a divine sound that travels across realms, slicing through shadows and summoning those whose ears are tuned to eternity. He is speaking now, through this moment, through this message, through this sacred interruption of your timeline. You thought you stumbled here. You thought you clicked randomly. You thought this was coincidence, curiosity, or maybe just a strange nudge in the middle of your day. But the moment you saw the title, your spirit stirred. You felt it in your chest, like a spiritual defibrillator shocking you into awareness. That wasn't fear. That was recognition. That was remembrance. By sunrise, your spirit will not be the same. Something is shifting even now. The weight in the air. The clarity beginning to form in your mind. The chills running down your spine. You are not imagining this. This is the hour of divine alignment. Archangel Michael stands ready, not with poetry, but with prophecy. Not with suggestion, but with strategy. This is not paranoia. It's prophecy rising. You weren't just being suspicious, you were being summoned. You weren't imagining patterns, you were interpreting signs. Your dreams weren't nightmares, they were alerts. And the silence around you, it wasn't abandonment. It was a divine pause, a celestial breath being held as heaven prepared to speak. This is that moment. This is your confirmation. Everything in your spirit that refused to shut down, that part of you that couldn't go back to sleep, that couldn't unsee what you saw, that couldn't accept the lies, that part of you was right. It was never broken. It was never rebellious. It was never too sensitive. It was chosen. You were guided here because you refused to close your eyes. You were guided here because you refused to silence your discernment. You were guided here because you were never one of them. You were always one of heaven's. Heaven has chosen to speak to you now, not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. Not because you've always obeyed, but because you never quit seeking. Not because you're flawless, but because you're faithful. Look at your timeline. Look at your prayers. Look at the hours you wept in confusion, begged for answers, pleaded for understanding. Do you really believe that heaven did hear you? Do you really think that Archangel Michael did not draw his sword the moment your name was mentioned in the courts of glory? You are seen. You are summoned. You are sealed. This is not for entertainment. This is not for everyone. This is sacred space now. Even as you read this, the atmosphere around you is changing. The warfare you've been under wasn't imaginary. A delay wasn't punishment, it was protection. You weren't being ignored, you were being incubated. And now, the voice of the Archangel comes with fire. You were never meant to blend in. A discomfort you feel when you're around certain people. A tension that rises in rooms that once felt familiar. That sudden shift in your spirit when someone says the right thing with the wrong motive. That's not anxiety. That's discernment. That's the Holy Spirit guarding your gates. This moment was scheduled before you were born. It was scripted in the scrolls of heaven before you ever cried your first tear. The reason you couldn't stop digging is because something in you remembered what you were sent here to confront. You weren't just curious, you were commissioned. You are the remnant, the spiritually alert, the chosen intercessor, the warrior hidden in plain sight. Archangel Michael is speaking through this moment because the earth is trembling under the weight of unseen wars. Because the timelines are collapsing and overlapping, and what was far off is now near. The veil is thinning. The shadows are moving. And heaven is choosing its final players. You are not late. You are right on time. You are not broken. You are battle-tested. You are not lost. You are led. Now take a deep breath and recognize this moment is holy. The wind you feel isn't from the room. It's from the Spirit. The chill down your spine is the breath of destiny. Heaven is moving around you, and Archangel Michael has set his eyes on your path. There is more to come. This was only the beginning. Type I receive in the comments if this word touched your spirit. Blessing code 777 is now released upon you. You started sensing something wasn't right. It didn't start with a voice. It started with a feeling. Subtle, soft, yet unshakable. You couldn't explain it, and no one else seemed to notice. But it grew stronger every day. The laughter around you began to sound rehearsed. The conversations, though filled with words, began to feel hollow, pre-written. People who once felt close began to behave like actors reading from a script. They smiled too much. They listened too carefully. Their eyes lingered a second too long. And you felt it. You weren't being included. You were being watched. There was a tension in the air you couldn't name. It clung to your skin. It twisted around your spirit. You started seeing past the performance. Their energy wasn't matching their words. The room shifted when you walked in. Questions were answered before you asked them. Truths were hidden behind layers of politeness, and you weren't supposed to notice what you did, because you weren't looking with human eyes anymore. Archangel Michael had already warned you. Leave it. But something deeper kept pulling you. Your spirit kept uncovering. You began tracing breadcrumbs, things no one else was supposed to connect. You read between silences. You watched lips move but heard something else entirely. The truth was speaking through the gaps, and only you could hear it. You weren't being paranoid, you were being activated. Your spirit had crossed a veil, and now everything in the natural felt off. You didn't just hear lies, you tasted the poison behind them. You didn't just sense deception. You felt the weight of the spirits manipulating behind the masks. Your clarity wasn't comfortable. It was painful. The more you saw, the more they turned on you. First subtly, then boldly. They questioned your motives. They mocked your overthinking. They labeled your discernment as delusion. But deep down, they knew. You had seen too much. You had heard too much. You had felt too much. And still, you couldn't stop. The digging wasn't rebellion. It was spiritual instinct. Heaven had opened your senses for a reason. What you uncovered wasn't just betrayal. It was proof that your spirit had matured. You weren't misreading things. You were reading too clearly. Let them call it paranoia. Let them call it obsession. Heaven calls it preparation. This wasn't random suspicion. This was divine disruption. You were meant to be uneasy. You were meant to feel it. Because if you had stayed asleep, if you had accepted their lies, if you had silenced that inner alarm, you would have missed the activation of your destiny. This pain, it was never your punishment, it was your promotion. The pressure you feel right now is the tension of a curtain being pulled back. You're standing in a place between the seen and unseen. You are not imagining it. You are not broken. You are not unstable. You are awakening. And once you awaken, you can never go back to pretending. You may feel alone, but the heavens are with you. You may feel surrounded, but you are shielded. You may feel misunderstood, but you are known, deeply, fully, eternally. Archangel Michael stands near you now, as the watchers begin to panic. Because you didn't just see behind the curtain, you refused to look away. You kept digging. And now, they know it. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And don't forget to subscribe for exclusive updates, divine insight, and future prophetic messages meant to guide and guard your spirit in these urgent times. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if this confirmed what you've been feeling. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. This was never about them. It was about you. The war you've been feeling didn't start with them. It didn't start with the conversation, the betrayal, or the silence that followed. No. This battle has always been about what was inside of you. This was spiritual. From the very beginning. You were born into conflict, not because of what you did, but because of who you are. Your given trigger warfare. Your presence unsettled darkness. Your light began revealing shadows they had long kept hidden. You didn't enter their space by accident. You were sent. From birth, you were marked. Archangel Michael has been watching over your path since your first breath, not because you were perfect, but because you carried something too costly to be left unguarded. And now, it makes sense. The attacks, the betrayals, the strange patterns of sabotage. The spiritual realm always knew your name, even when you were still figuring out who you were. What looked like confusion was actually strategic chaos. It acted. A weapon meant to cause you to question your own discernment. They weren't just attacking your relationships. They were trying to weaken your witness. But every single confrontation, every silent betrayal, every carefully crafted accusation, it wasn't just an assault. It was a training ground. Archangel Michael allowed you to feel the tension so you could learn the terrain. He let you sense the shadows so you could know the battlefield. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. And now, you see clearly. This was never about them. They were just vessels. Just tools. Just voices echoing what the enemy wanted to say. But the real conflict was never about personalities. It was about purpose. It was about your awakening. Your rising. Your spiritual inheritance. The enemy wasn't after your comfort, he was after your clarity. Because clarity leads to calling. And calling leads to warfare. With that warfare, it leads to victory. A betrayal you uncovered. That wasn't even the real attack. That was just the noise. The real battle was inside. Whether you would collapse or rise. Whether you would seek revenge or silence. Whether you would fight in the flesh or stand in the spirit. You are not a civilian anymore. You are a soldier in divine territory. You can't be casual about your calling. You can't be soft about your strategy. You've been elevated to a high realm of responsibility. And that means the spiritual attacks will come dressed like familiar faces. They'll look like comfort. They'll sound like friendship. But you'll know. Because now you see through spirit, not sentiment. Archangel Michael has trained you through the fire. Through confusion. Through moments where silence screamed louder than words. And now you are stronger than they know. More equipped than you realize. You don't need to expose them. Heaven is already doing that. You don't need to defend yourself. Heaven has taken your case. This isn't about reacting. It's about reigning. This isn't about pain. It's about positioning. You were never being punished. You were being provoked into power. The tests weren't there to break you. They were proving your capacity. Every time you wanted to scream but stayed silent, every time you wanted revenge but chose worship, every time you were tempted to expose but decided to pray, heaven was recording it. Your spirit has passed through the refiner's fire. And now, you walk differently. You listen differently. You move with purpose. You carry authority. Because this isn't a battle anymore, it's a shift. And you've been chosen to carry that shift. Type "I am a warrior" in the comments if you feel this section was for you. Blessing code 1313 has just been activated in your favor. Heaven has seen them move, and they are planning. There is a stirring in the unseen realm. Heaven has caught the signal. The movements have begun, quiet to the natural ear, but deafening in the spirit. You feel it, don't you? I'd shift in the air. The sudden moments of pressure. The heaviness you can't explain. You're not wrong. Something is happening behind the veil. Archangel Michael speaks now, not to frighten you, but to alert you. A divine heads up. A celestial intel drop. What you uncovered through your digging did more than awaken you. It disturbed them. It disrupted their plan. and dismantled their control. And now they're scrambling to respond. They're trying to rebuild the illusion you tore down with truth. Within the next 72 hours, you will feel it. The enemy's attempt to pull you into emotional collisions. Conversations will feel off. Situations will arise out of nowhere. There will be deliberate attempts to provoke your reaction. But listen clearly. Do not respond out of impulse. Do not engage out of emotion. There is a setup forming around your name. A carefully crafted trap, disguised as dialogue, hidden as harmless conflict. But if you take the bait, they will twist your voice into their weapon. They don't want resolution. They want retaliation. Because if you react in flesh, they'll have reason to label your spirit as unstable. But heaven says, be still. Be sharp. Be quiet. Don't chase rumors. Don't answer accusations. Don't respond to every mention. There is a divine shield being placed around you now, but it only works when you stay within its boundary. Your weapon is not your words, it is your discernment. Your strength is not your defense, it is your silence. Because silence in the spirit realm is not weakness, it's warfare. And your silence will sound like thunder in the ears of every lying tongue raised against you. The enemy's goal is chaos, confusion that clouds your judgment. But your assignment now is clarity. Clarity that comes from stillness. Clarity that comes from waiting on God. Every move they are planning has already been seen by heaven. Their meetings are monitored. Their texts are known. Their schemes are exposed in the courts of glory. This is not the time to panic. This is not the time to prove. This is the time to pause and posture yourself in peace. What looks like a crisis is actually a confront. How you respond determines whether you remain in delay or step into divine delivery. Let them talk. Let them gather. Let them scheme. Let them assume you're vulnerable. Because they have no idea what's protecting you now. They don't see the angels stationed around your name. They don't hear the intercession being stirred in the spirit on your behalf. They don't know that heaven has already turned the verdict in your favor. You are not just being warned. You are being armed. Armed with knowledge. Armed with timing. Armed with restraint that will shatter their strategy. And when the hour comes, and it will, when you feel the pull to defend yourself, remember this. Heaven will expose what you are not meant to explain. And when it's heaven who exposes it, no one can deny it. Stay low. Stay hidden. Stay holy. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments if you receive this warning. Lesson code 5555 is now protecting your atmosphere. Archangel Michael says, retreat. Let me fight. There is no weakness in your stillness. There is no defeat in your retreat. Heaven is not asking you to hide. It's commanding you to be still and let the holy war begin in your defense. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to clear your name. You don't need to orchestrate justice, because heaven already has. Archangel Michael, commander of the armies of the Lord, stands before you now, sword drawn, eyes ablaze, wings extended. And the message from the throne is clear. This battle is not yours. It is mine. You've done your part. You discerned the truth. You stayed faithful when everything screamed for reaction. Now it's heaven's move. Retreat does not mean surrender. It means trust. It means relinquishing your grip on the outcomes and watching as the supernatural takes over. You are not abandoning the fight. You are stepping aside so the captain of angel armies can advance. Your silence will echo louder than your shouts. Your restraint will release angelic motion. Your refusal to respond to provocation is not cowardice. It is divine alignment. Every time you choose prayer over panic, heaven celebrates. Every time you choose peace over proof, angels are dispatched. Fast. Pray. Listen. Your strategy now is stillness. Not stagnation, but spiritual precision. You are no longer flailing in reaction. You are moving by revelation. Heaven doesn't need you to shout. It needs you to hear. Because the next instruction won't come through chaos. It will come through clarity birthed in silence. Wear peace like armor. Cloak yourself in confidence. Speak only when the Spirit gives utterance. Not your pain, not your fear, not your flesh. This is not about sounding spiritual. This is about becoming untouchable. The more quiet you become, the louder heaven begins to move. Heaven moves through the mouth of the obedient. You are not defenseless, you are divinely shielded. You are not outnumbered. You are out of sight, hidden in the cleft of the rock. While they plot, you are protected. While they manipulate, you are mantled. While they fabricate, you are fortified. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Not a ruer, not a whister, not a gathering, not a tactic, not a setup, not a scheme, not one. The angels are already in motion. The courts of heaven have been convened. Archangel Michael has already drawn the line in the spirit realm. Every fiery dart, every whispered slander, every misrepresented version of your name will collapse under the weight of truth. But it will not be your voice that brings it down. It will be God's vindication. You must rest now, not in laziness, but in posture. Rest in assurance. Rest in the knowledge that God is not slow. He is strategic. His justice is not delayed. It is calculated. Your stillness is an act of war. Your silence is your seed. Your peace is your power. So go quiet now. You're guarded. Go in peace. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you've given up. Let them think you're silent because you're scared. They don't know the power that's surrounding you now. They don't know who's fighting for you. They don't know that heaven has marked you untouchable. Type "I am hidden in him" in the comments if you receive this word. Lesson code 1441 is now your shield. You're not who you were when this began. You've changed, whether you realize it or not. The digging broke something, yes, but it also built something sacred. Something no one can take from you. You've passed through fire, and the version of you standing now isn't fragile, isn't confused, isn't seeking validation. The old version of you, the one that second-guessed your instincts, the one that needed permission to trust your own discernment, that Persian is gone. What's left now is refined, holy, yarb, unshakable. You've grown wings in the middle of the war, and those wings weren't gifted in peace. They were forged in pressure. Every sleepless night, every moment you questioned your sanity, every time you cried in silence, heaven wasn't ignoring you. Heaven was equipping you. You didn't just survive this, you ascended in it. The shaking was never meant to scatter you. It was designed to shift you. Let them underestimate you. Let them whisper, let them point, let them plot, because what they don't understand is that their underestimation is your cover. They thought they were draining you, but they were drawing you closer to your source. Every misjudgment became a catalyst. Every loss became a lesson. And every betrayal became a birthing. You are not bitter. You are becoming. You are not passive. You are poised. You are not fearful. You are focused. And your power now lies in this truth. You no longer need to be seen to move. You no longer need to be understood to be effective. You are operating in divine intelligence now, hearing from the Holy Spirit, not the opinions of the room. Your obedience has become your weapon. Your stillness has become your sword. Your presence has become a signal in the Spirit. There is no need to explain your elevation. Those who carry flesh won't understand your fire. The anointing on your life is too layered for the average mind to grasp. But it was never for them. It was always for the kingdom. Your discernment didn't break you. It built you. Archangel Michael calls you warrior now, not wanderer. You walk with a different stride. You pray with a deeper frequency. You move with a new rhythm. What would have destroyed you last season only defines your rank in this one. You've been enlisted into something eternal, and you didn't need a title. Your authority was born in silence. You were never meant to live reactive. You were meant to live prophetic. You no longer chase what leaves. You bless it. You no longer fight what's beneath you. You rise above it. You no longer speak to what distracts. You command what belongs. You are not just chosen. You are in charge. And there's no going back. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unlearn what heaven has taught you. You can't return to the smaller version of yourself that once begged for belonging and re-abuse of its purpose. But now you lead. So lift your head. Square your shoulders. The warfare marked you, but the glory mantled you. You are equipped. You are elevated. You are empowered. Type "I'm armored" in light in the comments if this is your transformation moment. Blessing code 1515 is upon you now. This all had to happen for alignment. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was wasted. Not the tears. Not the silence. Not the questions that echoed through your chest at 3 a.m. Not the betrayal that felt like a sword in your back. Not the confusion that lingered after people you trusted turned into strangers. It all had to happen, not because you were cursed, but because you were being calibrated. This wasn't punishment. This was promotion in disguise. Heaven needed your eyes open before your elevation. You couldn't walk blindly into what you were called to carry. You had to see who they really were. You had to see what spirit they operated under. You had to witness how familiar spirits masquerade in friendly faces. Because if you hadn't seen it then, you would have welcomed it into your next level. So heaven allowed it to unfold. Because sometimes, exposure is the greatest gift God can give you. Not to break your heart, but to preserve your purpose. What you uncovered wasn't random. That thing you found, that piece of truth you couldn't shake, that coincidence you kept seeing in every conversation, every connection, every message, that was a breadcrumb trail from the throne, and it led you right into the divine revelation. You are being set apart for a purpose much greater than comfort. This wasn't about proving them wrong. This was about proving you were ready. Ready to carry weight without crumbling. Ready to lead without wavering. Ready to stand without seeking applause. The pain was your proof. The revelation was your preparation. The fire was your final exam. And now, your name is echoing through divine chambers. Your name has been read aloud in places your feet haven't touched yet. Heaven is orchestrating connections. Heaven is shifting atmospheres. Heaven is preparing a stage for your next step, not so you can be seen, but so God can be glorified through you. You didn't go through all this just to recover. You went through this to rise. You are no longer on the outside looking in. You are the one being summoned forward. But not because you shouted the loudest, because you listened the longest. Not because you fought to be noticed to, but because you stayed faithful when it felt like no one was watching. Your promotion is not coming from people, it's coming from heaven. What you saw, the systems, the schemes, the cycles, it all ties to your calling. You weren't just digging into darkness. You were locating your divine placement. You are meant to disrupt cycles, to confront what others ignore. You'll uncover what others hide, to call out what others accept. You're not called to blend in, you're called to break through. And now, you move differently, with vision, with weight, with presence. The Holy Spirit will begin sending confirmations, not signs, but assignments, divine alignments, prophetic moments, new mantles. And as they come, don't shrink, don't question. Just step into the meetings, step into the rooms, step into the authority. Because heaven is backing you now. You don't need their approval. You have God's endorsement. If this revelation struck your spirit and you want to help us continue sharing messages like this, please consider giving a super thanks. You can bless this work with a contribution of $10 or more. Your support means everything and helps us keep releasing what heaven is saying. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure you subscribe for future prophetic words, spiritual strategies, and divine insight that speaks directly to your spirit. Type "I'm rising" in the comments if you receive this prophetic shift. Blessing code 1818 is now resting over your journey. It's time to rise, not recoil. This is the moment the enemy fear. This is the sound of your soul standing tall. You've crossed the line. You survived the exposure. You've endured the stillness. You've been awakened by divine confrontation. And now, you are being called to rise. Not recoil. Not retreat. Not return to small thinking or shallow waters. Rise. Heaven is waiting on your response. Not a whisper of fear, but a declaration of faith. Not hesitation, but holy hunger. You are not who you used to be. You're not just surviving the warfare. You are stepping into divine warriorship. Everything you went through wasn't for recovery, it was for reclamation. You're claiming your authority. You're claiming your voice. You're claiming the destiny that hell tried to distract, delay, and destroy. This is the point where most people go silent. This is the hour when fear tries to speak louder than faith. But not you, not now. The alarms are sounding in the spirit. Heaven is sending out the summons. This is your moment to declare with every fiber of your being, "Yes, Lord. I align with my assignment. I move forward. I'm no longer afraid." Destiny doesn't wait for comfort. It demands courage. You must step even while your knees shake. You must obey even if the atmosphere isn't friendly. You must believe even when there's no applause. Because your yes in this hour isn't just for you. It's for generations attached to your obedience. Say it. Declare it. Mean it. Say yes to the calling. Yes to the mantle. Yes to the consecration. Yes to the mission. No more distractions. No more emotional sabotage. No more spiritual amnesia that makes you forget who you are the moment things get loud. This is the season of supernatural clarity, and you are no longer moving in cycles. You are moving in assignment. Every closed door in your past wasn't rejection. It was coded protection. Heaven refused to let you enter places that would contaminate your calling. That's why certain people had to disappear. That's why certain rooms started to feel foreign. You were being blocked, you are being positioned. You must stop mourning what heaven removed. Your future doesn't fit your former. Your next requires you to shed the skin of who you once were. That means no more tiptoeing, no more seeking permission, no more bowing to insecurity disguised as humility. You are not small. You are not weak. You are not invisible. You are activated. This is your language now: boldness, invitation, glory, precision, purpose. You don't need to ask for signs anymore. You are the sign. The moment you step forward, things will begin to shift. Angels are standing by, waiting for your voice to break the barrier. Don't beg. Don't hesitate. Speak. Believe. And when you do, the realm of the spirit will recognize you. The resistance will react. But don't fear that. It's only proof that you've entered new territory. So step in. Step up. Heaven is backing you. Destiny isn't waiting for the perfect moment. This is the perfect moment. You've been through too much to hesitate now. Type ISAYYES in the comments if you are ready for destiny. Blessing code 2020 has now been assigned to your breakthrough. While you wept, angels recorded your surrender. There were moments no one saw. The nights when the weight of it all pressed into your chest like concrete. The nights when you stared at the ceiling, not even knowing what to pray. The moments when silence screamed louder than the voices around you. You felt forgotten, but you were being recorded. Heaven was not absent. Heaven was documenting. While you wept, angels stood at attention. They were not just comforting you. They were cataloging every tear, every sigh, every whispered prayer, every moment you didn't lash out, every time you chose mercy over vengeance, every decision to walk away rather than strike back. It all went into the record. And those records have now triggered divine response. This is what most never see, the silent exchanges in the spirit realm. While you were weeping, you were also being weighed. Your character, your submission, your capacity for restraint, heaven was watching it all. And those who pass through the fire and still don't let the flame touch their integrity are marked for promotion. There were moments when your flesh wanted answers, but your spirit chose surrender. And that surrender, it was louder than any sermon you could have preached. While you were asleep, heaven negotiated on your behalf. Angels were dispatched with scrolls. Assignments were reviewed. Cases were pleaded before the throne. And the verdict was in your favor. You didn't lose. You sowed. You didn't fail. You passed a test that most never recognize was happening. There are blessings in the spirit realm now with your name inscribed on them. Not because you demanded, but because you trusted. And trust always activates the divine exchange. While they tried to take your peace, you were trading for power. While they tried to damage your name, heaven was sealing your identity. While they tried to steal your focus, angels were securing your next step. What was taken from you was not stolen, it was sown. And what is coming back is not equal, it is multiplied. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. The realm of the spirit is under divine instruction now. Things are being released. Delays are breaking. Restoration is inbound. You've been upgraded in silence. While others shouted, you submitted. While others fought for attention, you hid in obedience. And heaven has marked that. There are new mantles being released even now, and yours is among them. Don't be surprised when favor starts finding you in places you never expected. Don't be confused when the very ones who tried to discredit you now have to watch you rise. This is spiritual protocol. Divine exchange is not random. It is a law of the kingdom. You gave in secret, and now God will reward you in public. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not behind. You are next. So walk in that knowledge. Carry that posture. Keep moving like someone who knows that heaven is in motion. Even now, the wind of the Spirit is stirring around you. You'll feel it in conversations that suddenly shift. You'll sense it in the sudden clarity that comes over your decisions. You will see it in the favor that falls without explanation. That's the silent exchange manifesting. You sowed in silence. Now prepare to reap in glory. Type "I am next" in line in the comments if this resonates with your soul. Blessing code 1717 has now been released over your timeline. What they plotted is being undone now. There is a sound echoing through the spirit realm, a sound that shakes strongholds and silences every lie. It is not the sound of your voice shouting back. It is not the sound of your name being cleared by man. It is the sound of divine justice falling like thunder. What they plotted is being undone now. Not next year. Not months from now. Now, heaven does not forget. What they whispered in hidden rooms. What they spoke in coded messages. What they schemed in the shadows. It has all come under divine review. And God has rendered a verdict. The gavel has dropped. The sentence has been issued. And it is not in their favor. They called it strategy, but heaven calls it slander. They called it clever, but heaven calls it cursed. They called it justified, but heaven calls it judge. Divine reversal is not an idea. It is a manifestation. You will begin to see it in ways that confound the natural mind. Doors they thought they closed will open without their permission. Opportunities they tried to block will find you through back channels. And the very mouths that spoke against you will be silenced by the weight of glory resting on your life. This is not revenge. This is not tit for tat. This is heaven restoring the balance. Heaven is a courtroom of truth, and truth always outlives a lie. You do not need to chase your vindication, because vindication is chasing you. There is no petition stronger than the prayers you prayed in agony. No accusation louder than the worship you gave in pain. Heaven has recorded it all, and now the record is being reconciled. Favor will follow you where vengeance tried to stay. You don't have to announce your comeback. God is doing it for you. Divine reversal isn't only about correcting what went wrong. It's about catapulting you into what was delayed. Every detour they sent your way, every barrier they set in motion, every limitation they tried to convince you of, it's all turning now. What they said about you is returning to their doorstep. The traps they lay will now become the reason they stumble. And you will walk forward without bitterness, without baggage, without any need to explain. Because justice is best served in silence, and God is your defense. You didn't beg. You didn't retaliate. You didn't stoop to their level. And for that, heaven has honored you. You chose purity over pettiness. You chose restraint over rage. And that's why the reversal will not just be seen, it will be supernatural. You are vindicated, not just in spirit but in visibility. They will have to watch you rise. They will have to witness what they could not stop. Because heaven always completes what it begins. God doesn't forget his own. And you are one of his, sealed, seen, sanctified, and sent. Let it go now. Let the past fade. You don't need to revisit the scene of the crime to prove anything. The evidence is in the elevation. The proof is in the peace you carry. The favor that follows you is not permission, it's proclamation. You are free. You are cleared. You are released. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them wrestle with the grace they can't comprehend on your life. Because your story is not ending in struggle. It is rising in justice. If this word struck something deep in your spirit and you'd like to sow into this prophetic flow, please consider giving a super thanks with a gift of $5, $10, or even $20. Your support helps us release more of heaven's messages into the earth. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for continued updates, divine instruction, and spiritual content crafted just for this remnant generation. Stay aligned. Stay alert. Stay anointed. Type heaven has ruled in my favor in the comments if you receive this justice. Blessing code 1999 is active over your timeline now. Peace to your spirit. It is done. Let every burden lift now. Let every lie lose its grip. Let every wound close in the presence of truth. Peace to your spirit. It is done. You've walked through fire and didn't burn. You sat in silence and weren't swallowed. You stared down betrayal and still believed. And because of that, heaven smiles upon you. What you found when you disobeyed man's comfort and obeyed heaven's pull, that wasn't your destruction. That was your designation. That discovery didn't come to break you. It came to birth you. You were not cursed for digging deeper. You were called to uncover. And what was revealed was never meant to crush you. It was meant to confirm who you really are. You are not just a survivor. You are not just a seeker. You are a seer. One who discerns. One who intercedes. One who disrupts hell's agendas by merely walking into a room. Your presence carries prophecy. Your voice carries power. Your obedience opens portals. So breathe now. The storm has passed. The winds may still howl, but they are behind you now. You are no longer running from something. You are walking into something. And what you are walking into has been waiting for you since the foundation of time. This is the hour you step forward fully. Not hiding, not doubting, but owning your divine identity. You are sealed, marked by heaven. You are seen, known by God in secret and in storm. You are sent, with purpose, with protection, with power. The war did not take you out. It taught you how to stand. The silence did not destroy you. It sanctified your spirit. The betrayal didn't break you. It revealed your birthright. So rise now, in authority, in clarity, in divine peace. What's been loosed in heaven is now active in your life. The angels have gone before you. The doors are opening. The justice hath been served, and the path is clear. Walk it boldly. Live it fully. Speak it fearlessly. You are chosen. You are called. You are complete. Type I receive this word in full in the comments and watch blessing code 2121 be activated over your next 7 days. This is your seal. This is your time. This is your turnaround.